need to follow if you want to take your VSL and turn it into an asset that can generate 6 figures per month. And in this video, I'm going to break down the VSL structure and script for you with a recent VSL that I've used that has generated multiple 6 figures in profit just over the last few months for my business for you by sharing my screen and literally dissecting the entire VSL for you. Yes. Now, to be very clear, this is for those who already have an offer that is proven that works, whereby you are already generating decent revenue and profit for your business. And you already understand that you have an ideal client who you can serve. Okay. So when it comes to taking a VSL, there are two most important things. The two most important things that you need to have in order to get the VSL to become extremely profitable for your business. Number one, it's an offer that you can make to people where you're literally going to tell them, I will do this for you. And number two is credibility and social proof. And when I say credibility and social proof, I'm not talking like you need to be able to say all these accolades behind your name. No, that's not what I mean. When I say credibility and social proof, what I'm talking about is that you have a proven track record that when you say, I can get this result for you, you have proof and evidence to back it up, okay? And so I see so many people screw this up because they start talking about how they've been featured on all these news channels and in all these forums. Or prospect on the other side is reading that or seeing that in the VSL, they're thinking, yeah, but how does that apply to me? Okay. And when you can instead prove that your process works via testimonials and results and speaking about the solution in a way where you clearly know what you're talking about, people are then going to trust you. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to break down the VSL script, this VSL framework. I'm actually just going to share my screen because I think it's going to help you understand how to do this in the best way, shape, and form. And the way that I'm going to do this, I'm going to give you a real life example. So let's look at this. So the first line, right? It is literally like, Lauren Tickner, I will give you a social media sales system that leverages AI to get 3 to 10 high-ticket clients per month so you can work fewer hours and enjoy your life more. So let me break this down for you, okay? So first things first, very simple introduction. Then I go straight into my offer. I'll give you a social media sales system that leverages AI to get 3 to 10 new high-ticket clients per month so you can work fewer hours and enjoy your life more. Now, there is a key few elements here. First thing is this. I'm very clear on what I'm doing. I will give you a social media sales system that leverages AI. And then I'm very clear on the outcome that for the right person is very easy to achieve with my system to get 3 to 10 new high-ticket clients per month. Now, later in the video, I will show you where I qualify and disqualify people because this is not for beginners, right? My VSL is not designed to speak to beginners. Here, I am specifically speaking to those who would generate really, really, really good results from working with me because they are a more high caliber, highly sophisticated person, okay? So, okay, you can see my screen, good. So the second thing is I also know what they want. So it says, so you can work fewer hours and enjoy your life more, right? I know my ICP, I know my ideal client profile really well. That's what they want. So what you need to do here is you need to tell them exactly what you're going to do for them. You're going to make a claim which is very, very realistic, which isn't like some crazy income claim or anything, but it is realistic for the people who are good ideal clients for you. And so that you can, and then whatever it is that like real internal thing is for them that they want. Okay? My ideal clients, they really want to work fewer hours and enjoy their life more. That's the internal goal. But oftentimes when we're speaking to them, they'll say things like, I need more leads and I need more clients. But because we know our ideal clients so well, we know what they really want deep down, which is that they want to work fewer hours and enjoy their life more. So you need to know what that is for your business. Cool? So the first line is like, what are you going to do for them? And what's the real internal reason why this is an important thing for them? So next up, you go into social proof. Social proof is really important, and this is your proven track record of how you can help somebody. So it's like if you're already doing well but you're tired of a consistent lead flow, this system will change everything. Okay, so it's again, I'm calling out my ideal client, and then this is the same system used by a founder who added 100K in new revenue. Eric Hart, who now signs 10 to 12 new $5,000 clients every month. Mike Moore, who added 55K within the first 60 days. And I spoke on the same stages as Gary Vee, Alex Hormozy, and Rich Dad Poor Dad's profitably and predictably. So When I say I'm going to Kiyosaki, I'm more than 12 going to give you a social media 100% on methodology to generate clients organically. Here's why I'm credible to tell you that, right? You see how those two things connect? So what you need to do is in the first line, you tell them what you're going to do for them. And then right after that, you're going to tell them basically, here's why I'm credible. Obviously, you're not going to say it like that, right? You're going to say it like, this is the same system used by these people who are getting these results, which have to be a similar result to what you promised in the beginning. And then boom, straight after that, here's how it works. Literally just get into it. Here's how it works. Number one, number two, number three. These are going to be probably the same pillars that you use in your sales call. Okay. And you just get straight into it. Word it in a way that sounds nice and appealing to them. Okay. Then right after that, fully transparent, I'm going to tell you the investment required is $10,000. But many clients make that back within the first 30 to 60 days because the system begins producing results immediately. So if that investment feels too heavy right now, that's a sign that your offer isn't stable enough for scaling, and that's completely fine. But if an extra 3 to 10 high ticket clients per month makes financial sense, this becomes the easiest decision that you'll make all year. That's it. So like we tell them what the price is, right? We don't hide that. People that hide it, what then ends up happening is they're full of a bunch of sales calls that are never going to close. So you'll just tell them the investment required if you're on a B2B. Obviously, if you're B2C, right, you're not going to say this. If you're selling like a fat loss offer or something like that, you're not just going to be like, hey, I'll tell you the investment required. But what you would say is something more along the lines of, look, I want to be fully transparent. Okay, we are not the cheapest to work with, because we only take on a small handful of clients at any one time so that we can really serve those who we're working with. So if you're not in a position where you're prepared to make a serious financial investment into your health or into your relationship, whatever it happens to be, then I strongly recommend exiting this page right now. This is not a good fit for you. Okay, and then boom, on the screen when we show, how people make that back in the first 30 days, we flash onto the screen edited testimonials of people. And that's essentially how we're able to create a VSL script. So you're going to tell them what you're going to do. You're going to back it up with proof. You're going to break down how it works. You're going to tell them what the investment is, or roughly what the investment is. You're going to answer a few quick common questions. You're going to really clearly say who this is for. You're going to say who this is not for. And then you're going to give a clear call to action to click below and book a call. It's very simple, right? Now, obviously, if you're, again, in a B2C market, you want to make it a bit longer. You want to elaborate a little bit more. Okay, but when you're in a B2B market, right, where you are serving business owners, where you're serving people that have money, you want to make sure that you're really short, punchy, to the point. Why? Because people who are on the B2B side, they don't want to waste time, right? They want to just know what the offer is and if it's something that you can help them with. So just remember that for next time that you are creating a VSL. And if you don't have a VSL, you don't know what it is, then it's a video sales letter, okay? What you're doing in there is you're making an offer to the people who could be a good potential fit to work with you. It's really short, direct, to the point. And this is the funnel that you can scale. But the key is that you understand your messaging and the language, okay? So one of the analogies that I always use, for example, like on a sales call with someone, or that my team uses, is like, I'll ask them if they've ever been to somewhere like Japan, and then if they'll say yes or no or whatever, I always say to them, yeah, like I was in Japan a while ago, and there were a ton of I was really, really hungry, but I have a gluten intolerance, which is true. And if I eat gluten, obviously it screws me up. So there were all these restaurants in Japan with these massive, big, bold, flashing signs outside of them. But because Japanese is a language that I don't understand, what I ended up doing, because I was worried about eating the wrong thing, is I just walked straight past all the restaurants and I went to 7-Eleven and grabbed some pre-packaged sushi. And the reason why, right, is because Japanese, I don't speak Japanese. Japanese isn't a language I understand. So even though there were all those big, bold signs outside those restaurants, I ended up walking straight past. And the same thing happens in so many people's sales and marketing, right? It happens in VSLs. Because if you're speaking in one language over here and then the other person is understanding another language over here and they're thinking in another language, even if you're saying all the right words, it feels like you're speaking to them in a foreign language, so they end up just scrolling right past, they don't buy, right? Just like how I did in Japan. And so this is happening oftentimes in people's marketing and their sales. And it's probably happening to you right now if you cannot get a VSL to convert, because it means that you are trying to be too wordy, you're saying too many things that people don't get. So what this comes down to is understanding the language that your ideal client is understanding. So that's why, like, for my clients in my inner circle or in the accelerator, like we just spoke about there, the first thing that we always do is identify the language and figure out the language that you must be speaking so that it feels like you're speaking, you know, French to French, right? Or English to English, right? Not where you're speaking over here in Japanese, but they're understanding English, right? You need to be speaking the same language. Otherwise, even if you were to be posting 10 times a day, spending $10,000 per month or more on ads, right? It's not going to result in more profitable revenue because people won't get what you're all about. And that's why the first, very most important step of all of this is identifying the language. That's what we do with every single client. And so if, by the way, you would be interested in having a chat with me and my team about what we just discussed, then you can send me a message on any social media platform. Just send me a message saying the word VSL, so that I know that you came from this video, so you have context. And we can have a chat, see if it's a fit. You'll speak to Mariana, who runs my social media and all my marketing. She'll have a chat with you and see if it's a fit. Again, super chill. We'll let you know if it's not the right fit. But yeah, like I think it's just a really important thing to understand is that like if you cannot get a VSL working, it's because you don't understand how to speak the right language. Just like the analogy that I just used regarding like, you know, me being in Japan. So with that being said, let me know if you've got any questions about this. Sorry that some of this was cutting out a little bit. I'm just getting new to doing these live streams. But yeah, cool. All right, guys, I'll be sharing a lot more cool stuff like this. I've got a bunch of other stuff on my page. Go check some of that out.